Gene therapy is an uprising scientific advancement in the field of medicine. It modifies faulty genetic materials to produce a therapeutic effect. In gene therapy, a vector is a means of delivering DNA that encodes therapeutic protein. Once inside the body, the DNA is expressed by the cell machinery, which results in the synthesis of therapeutic protein. Then it addresses the patient's condition. In 1972 was gene therapy initially proposed with caution for human gene therapy trials. In the later years of 1990, a 4-year-old girl with severe combined immunodeficiency undergone the first FDA-approved gene therapy experiment in the United States. Since then, over 1,700 clinical trials have been conducted using a number of techniques for gene therapy. Although gene therapy is a viable treatment for a variety of genetic illnesses, early clinical failures and ethical issues led many to reject gene therapy as an overhyped method. In this debate, we will hear arguments in support of gene therapy from Flores as well as arguments against it by Fuentes to help us weigh the benefits-risk ratio and whether to embrace gene therapy or not.
A new scientific paper published by the European Journal of Human Genetics confirms that an estimated 300 million people worldwide suffer from rare genetic disorders. Even worse, the global burden of disease estimates that almost 10 million people die due to various types of cancers annually. Most of these conditions are incurable, and while medications and techniques are available to help patients cope with the effects of these conditions, there are no guaranteed treatments that will cure them. However, a scientific breakthrough known as gene therapy shows a remarkable potential to eradicate genetic conditions and cancer in affected individuals. It is a type of treatment known as biologics because it is derived from living sources rather than from chemicals. In a broad sense, gene therapy aims to change how genes function in the body. It can be used to turn off a disease-causing cell, or a disease-causing gene, rather, add a healthy copy of a gene over a faulty one to override the effects of the defective one, or it can be used to kill disease-causing cells. These processes are groundbreaking in the medical field because they have the potential to cure a disease, especially in cases where no medications have worked. So, given all these promising potentials of gene therapy in treating various genetic disorders and even cancer, why would we deny people who require this procedure when it is the only way to improve their quality of life and relieve them of a burden?
Admittedly, gene therapy has the potential for treating ailments. However, there is no denying that gene therapy has been linked to a slew of issues. The range of key issues is lack of information regarding the therapy's long-term effectiveness, the potential impacts on gene pool which poses practical and ethical problems, as well as its irreversible nature. Many of the present gene therapy has been shown to be mainly unsuccessful. Conditions treated with gene therapy improve for a brief time then revert to their pre-treatment form, and in the worst cases, result in death. Scientists have not completely known how gene therapy works and what may go wrong. Instead of saving one's life, it may end up exposing others to an increased danger of its consequences and even more death. So is that really an acceptable risk? In the United States, failed gene therapy efforts have resulted in hundreds of fatalities. A trial of this treatment was done on 18-year-old Jill Singer at the University of Pennsylvania, which resulted in his death 4 days later. Jill Singer developed a strong immunological response to the vector put into his hepatic artery. This simply goes to show that the promise of gene therapy may create a false sense of optimism for survival. Superb as it may seem, gene therapy may not last. Nature is unpredictable, and it may occasionally take turns for the worse. Nature can easily adapt to changes, as seen by the increasing resistance to medicine. Gene therapy may be effective now, but in the future, alteration to genetic profiles may result in unanticipated illnesses. There is no guarantee that the gene therapy will be able to cure specific ailments in the future as it suggests today. We may unknowingly generate new illnesses for future generations as we try to manipulate genes. Thus, gene therapy can be all glitters and not gold.
Well, the use of gene therapy in the treatment of various diseases and genetic disorders are not being rushed. Several organizations and agencies oversee and maintain gene therapy research. Furthermore, a slew of clinical trials must be conducted first to eliminate any potential risks associated with this procedure. Several institutions, including the National Institute of Health and they provide guidelines for investigators and institutions such as universities and hospitals to basically follow when conducting gene therapy clinical trials. Furthermore, each gene therapy clinical trial must be approved by an institutional review board and an institutional biosafety committee before they can begin. With all these different institutions working together to ensure that the use of gene therapy in disease treatment is safe, we can assure that the risk of failure is greatly reduced, if not eliminated at all. And also, understanding the nature of how gene therapy works may somehow change your mind about your claim that it may not last and that it provides a false sense of optimism for survival. Faulty genes in this procedure are literally turned off, or it can be replaced with a healthy copy of a gene in this cutting-edge technique, which is known as gene inhibition and gene augmentation, respectively. And if all of these is made possible for a patient, it has the potential to cure them of their genetic disorder or disease, and the effect is long-term, if not lifelong. Furthermore, the patient will no longer pass on the faulty gene to their children, preventing future generations from inheriting the condition. Gene therapy was also created and made possible by the exponential advancement of technology. If it already has enormous potential in its infancy, imagine how much more it will have in the coming years as technology advances even further. It simply demonstrates that gene therapy is the future of cancer and genetic disorders treatment.
Gene therapy must really be watched and make in-depth investigations so that it could also foresee its unethical science may be demeaning to human race. Since scientists have duty to keep the gene pool diverse, manually reducing the gene pool by gene therapy is un-Darwinian or unnatural. When humans have the potential to modify their genetic makeup, the science of eugenics becomes conceivable. It might open the way for a future in which children's genetic profiles are tweaked in vitro to achieve a certain outcome. This would create a standards in new class of perfected individuals. This would make us less accepting of those who are different.